Deion Sanders left the HBCU to go coach at Colorado. Did you have an issue with the way that was
I
handled?
did have an issue with that. First, I want to say, shout out to Coach Prime.
Okay.
I hope he's recovering well from all of his medical situation. You feel me? I want nothing but the best one. Because even though he ain't got a political activist bone in his body, he's a great father. You feel me?
Hello.
LeBron James ain't got a political activist bone in his body, but he's a great father. I took issue when Deion left Jackson State. In fact, I was contacted by several of the Jackson State players who expressed the disappointment in Deion to me directly. And the reason I had an issue with it is Deion could have changed forever the face of NCAA Division I football. He could have brought the popularity and money of the D1 football program back to the HBCUs. You feel me? He could have brought all of our top tier athletes back to the HBCUs, and he sold them out for 30 pieces of silver to go to a white school that only has 2% black students in a town with 1% black people. I couldn't accept that. And guess what? I believe there was a little conspiracy involved in that Deion had nothing to do with. They needed Deion out of the HBCU system because what happened a few months after Deion went to Colorado State? The United States Supreme Court struck down affirmative action on the collegiate level. You know what that means now? If a HBCU, colleges that were created to do what? Give opportunities to blacks. Guess what? The Supreme Court said you could no longer give racial preference at an HBCU. If they find out that a black student got accepted to Howard Medical, if they found out a black student got accepted to Morehouse Medical, right? Because you black.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's why the school started. They can sue you for reverse discrimination. They needed Deion out the way before they did that, because if Deion was still at Jackson State, he would have had to lend his voice to the protest against that Supreme Court decision. So they said, get him out of the HBCU system before the Supreme Court drops this bombshell. Do you know that the white conservatives sent a letter to Howard University, this is about a year ago, threatening Howard, if we find out that you are turning away white students for black ones at an HBCU, we will still sue you for violating 14th Amendment equal protection under the law clause. You heard it from me first.
So crazy.
They're going to try to close down as many HBCUs as they can. And the ones they can't close down, they're going to try to gentrify them by forcing them to accept more and more white students. And let us be clear, you already have an HBCU that is now a PWI. You know which one it is?
Which one? No.
Bluefield State in West Virginia is an HBCU that is now a predominantly white institution. I visited it.
Crazy.
Guess who's going to be next? It could be Howard. Howard has the highest amount of non-American African students in its student population. And they are heavily funded by the U.S. government. They're already the #1 FBI recruiting HBCU in the country. Right. More black FBI agents come from Howard than anywhere else, right?
Yeah, they're in D.C., so it makes sense.
Absolutely, but the way it's going, Howard could very well be the first HBCU this century that is a PWI.
Crazy.
And you already know that the white faculty professors are overrunning the HBCU professor jobs. Oh, yes.
That's where it starts.
Oh, yes. You got HBCUs with whole departments, and all the professors are white. The gentrification of the HBCU. And why can't we lose the HBCU? Where do half your teachers come from? Damn near all your doctors, all your lawyers. You feel me? If you get rid of the HBCU, there is no black middle class. If they destroy the HBCU, they destroy the black middle class. Now everybody is working class, underclass, and poverty. Chess.
A famous narrative from a lot of people, especially when you go to social media, is that the African-American male runs to the Caucasian women because they're easier to deal with and they support them more.
I think that's nonsense. I do think some white women are easier to deal with. I do think some white women may support them more. But the main reason Negroes bunny hop is they value the white woman more than the black woman, which also means they value the white man more than themselves. You cannot show me a black man with a white woman who don't have a self-esteem and racial inferiority complex. Self-hate is the reason they bunny hop.
So is that why what you felt about Ish?
Well, with Ish, I didn't go that deep with Ish. We didn't go, and I like Ish. Ish is cool. Yeah, no. I didn't go that deep with Ish yet. We might have to have that conversation. We didn't get that deep. You know what I mean? And I don't know what put the light bulb in my head in that moment to ask him if he was a bunny hopper, because it wasn't part of, you feel me? So my ancestors just hit me. Like, it just came out of nowhere. Like, wait a minute.
That was fun, though.
Because nobody was going to tell me. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, but it was a good back and forth, but we didn't go that deep, but without question.
Yeah, because you could, I'm guessing that you could sense it in their behavior and demeanor.
Not really. Not really. I couldn't pick it up. I still don't know what made me. It just came out of nowhere at that second. I still don't know what did it.
Robert Griffin. He's
oh my God.
He's criticized Angel Reese.
Coon. There's nothing. It's one thing to be a bunny hopper. It's something completely different to make fun of black women and insult them in the presence of a white woman. Come on, man. Yeah. You don't sit up here and attack this young sister. She's 22, 23 years old. You're going to attack her in the presence of your white wife to make your white wife feel better? And let us be honest, whenever you see a black man with a white woman, anyway, he goes out of his way to ignore the black women that are around. You never see black men with white girls speak to black women. You ain't never seen it. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't pick it right now.
You ain't never seen a black man with a white woman speak to a black woman when he with his bunny. He has to overemphasize his commitment to the white girl.
Yeah. I got some homeboys straight from Jamaica, and they come down here and they don't want to see nothing, no Jamaican girls. They'll push them out the way to go meet a white girl.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I be seeing it.
That's sad. That's sad. That is sad.
Business. You mentioned business with your school.
Yes, sir.
And how you do business with white people. It's business.
Yes.
You're in a community in Delaware, Wilmington, that is very selective about how their systems run.
Predominantly black city, though, but you're correct.
Teachers' unions. Okay. If you can't get the right teachers in there and a white teacher so happens to be overqualified and wants to join in there with you, could you do it?
Well, first of all, even though we're an independent school, the state of Delaware does not allow you to discriminate on the basis of race, right? With that being said, could we end up with a non-African staff member? Quite possibly. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's possible. Because here's the one thing we got to be very careful about. Being accused of discriminating against non-blacks with acceptance of students and hiring of our people. You feel me? Because they're going to try to hit us with that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we could have a non-African staff. I'm not going to say they're going to be Caucasian, but the possibility is there because we have to make sure that we are heeding the law so it can't be used to shut us down.
Yeah. And that probably what went on with the HBCUs, the action that was taken, probably was.
But they got enough white people at the HBCUs, though. You feel me?
No. What I'm saying is like that's a hit. You know, like it's like okay, you know. I imagine when you heard that, you're like, oh, here we go.
Right. I mean, I kind of already knew it because I looked at law. Like somebody asked me, they said, "Will you have non-black students at the school?" I don't mind. You feel me? I don't mind. Chinese parent or Asian parent or white parent. Listen, I want my. Come on, just understand what we teaching here. But if you cool with it, I ain't got no problem with that.
You don't think there's power in that if there is a Caucasian person that's willing to learn and understand your way?
I think it's power in the perception in that if they see that I'm open to that, there may be less discrimination against my students in certain things. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? They say, okay, you got a couple of white kids in there, a couple of kids. Maybe he ain't what they say he is. You know what I mean?
Can't be that radical.
Exactly. And remember, the safety of the kids is our priority.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's why we would have to consider it.
When I speak to a lot of people inside of these communities,
Right.
a lot of people are so hell bent on the streets, right? And I feel like that takes away their mindset takes away from the ability for us ever to unify, because it's like this is where their unity is.
I got you.
Inside of the gang culture.
I got you. I see the same thing in hip hop. I see certain persons in the hip hop community who try to section off hip hop from the rest of black culture. Right? I'm accountable to hip hop, but I'm not accountable to black people. In other words, if I'm using the N-word all in my music, Black America shouldn't say nothing, because this is a part of the hip hop code. And unless other hip hoppers see a problem with this, ain't nothing wrong with it. How in the hell can you separate yourself from the culture that gave birth to that art form? But they try to do that. Same thing what you're saying with the gang culture, right? We exist in this box. Nobody outside the box can say anything to us unless they're inside this box, even though we destroying everything that's around us. So for me, anything in the black community that does not feel like it should be accountable to the black community should be removed from the black community. You follow what I'm saying? So if the gangs don't feel like they have to be accountable to black people, get rid of them. If the hip hop industry don't feel like it has to be accountable to black people, get rid of it. Anything that does not feel accountable to the black community should not be allowed inside of it.